Hello guys, it's Mr. Jimmy. I will give you the review for the third partial exam for 7th grade science. Remember guys, you have to study the chapter 8. That's lesson 8.1. It's on page 254. The first lesson is what is a plant. Okay, in this case guys, you had to find or you had to study the characteristic about the plant's share. Next page, in 255 page, you have a vocabulary. In this case, you have chlorophyll, photosynthesis, tissue, chloroplast, vacuole, cuticle, vascular tissue. Okay, you had to memorize all the definitions, all the words in the lesson. Okay, on page 256, we have for example, you have a tissue definition. Study that. Chloroplast and vacuole. A vacuole, for example, is a large storage sac that can expand and shrink. That is a vacuole in the plant. Okay, next page, 258, you have another two words to study the definition, the cuticle and vascular tissue, okay? Next page, next lesson is lesson number 2, classifying plants. That's on page 260. Over here you have a no-vascular plants definition. Next page you have a vocabulary again of the second lesson. Is a no-vascular plant, rhizoid, vascular plant, phloem, xylem, front, pollen, seed, gymnosperm, angiosperm, cotyledon, monocot, and dicot. All these words in the lesson 2, classifying plant, you had to memorize. Remember guys, and you had to study too the underlined parts in the book. Okay, we are on page 263. What are the characteristics of the seedless vascular plants? Okay, over here you have 3 different definitions. Study those definitions, please. Okay, next page you have page 264. You have ferns and front. Study that, please, too, guys. Okay, on page 267, you have the characteristic of the sea plants. There are 4: conifers, gingos, henophytes, and cicadas. Okay, remember all these 4 characteristics of the sea plant. Next part, next page, 268, the type of angiosperms. Okay, you have the angiosperm. What is the meaning for angiosperm is over there in the book. And there are 3 different type of angiosperm. Memorize the 3 type of angiosperm. Okay, next lesson. Lesson number 3, plant structure. That's on page 270. Remember guys, the plant structure, we talk about the root first, then the stems, and the last part of the plant structure is the leaf. Okay, the roots, memorize what is a root, what is the function of the root. On page 271, you have another vocabulary. For example, you have root cap, cambium, stoma, transpiration, embryo, germination, flower, pollination, sepal, petal, stamen, pistil, and ovary. All these words you have to memorize for the exams. Okay. Next page, you have a cambium. That is the part of the stem. Remember the structure of the plant. This is on lesson 3. Next part, page 274, is the last part of the structure of the plant. Is the leaves. What is a stomata? What is a transpiration? And what is the function, or what is the way to use the leaves in the plant structure? Okay, next page, 276, you have how do seeds become a new plant? The seed structure is the embryo. In the next page, is talk about what is the process of germination. Okay, now on page 278, what are the structure of the flower? Remember guys, you have to study what is a flower first, a pollination. What is that process in the structure of the flower? Okay, you have a sepals, petal, stamens, and pistil and ovary. Okay, all those words you have to memorize what means. Okay, that's lesson 3, page 279. Okay, we're gonna move. Next lesson, plant reproduction. On plant reproduction, you have, again, another vocabulary. For example, you have sporophyte, gymnophyte, annual, biennial, perennial, fertilization, zygote, cone, ovule, and fruit. All these words, again, guys, they are in the lesson number 4, plant reproduction, chapter number 8. Memorize all those words, guys. Okay, on page 282, you have another 2 words. What is a fertilization? What is the process of the fertilization in the plant reproduce? Okay, next page, 284, gymnosperm. Okay, what is a gymnosperm? Remember, guys, you had to memorize what is the process of gymnosperm. You have, the first one is comb production. Number 2, pollen production and ovule development. Number 3, the egg production. Number 4, pollination. Number 5, fertilization. Number 6 development. And the last reproduction part of the gymnosperm is the seed dispersal. Remember all the 7 steps in the process of gymnosperm. That's on page 284. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the angiosperm. Angiosperm is page 286. What is the angiosperm? There are 2 processes over there, guys. In the angiosperm, pollination, fertilization, and is another process in the angiosperm. We call that fruit development and seed dispersal. That's on page 287. Okay, next page. That's page 5. Page 288, lesson 5, plant response and growth. On page 289, you have another vocabulary. Tropisms, hormone, auxin, photoperiodisms, critical night length, short day plant, long day plant, day neutral plant, and dormancy. Okay, all those work, again, guys, memorize for the third partial exam. Okay, we have words on page 290. There are 2 over there, hormone and auxin. Memorize all those words too, guys. Okay, page 292, there are winter dormancy. Memorize what is a dormancy. Okay, there's another lesson number 6. On page 294, plants in every life. Over here, guys, is page 295. Over here, there are just 1 word to memorize. What is a pit? Okay, this is a short lesson. It's the definition of pit is on page 296. And the last lesson, and the last part, is the chapter review or study guide. Okay, on page 299, you have to study. Remember, I don't know if you have the page that I gave you for the study guide for the exam. You have to study the number 1 and 2 on page 299. 1 and 2, then you have to skip to 4 and 5 in the same page. Then you skip on number 6. Then you have to study 7, 8 in the page 299, and the last 2 question in that page is 11 and 12. And the last page you have to study, guys, is page 300 in chapter 8. Remember, over here you have to study number 14, 15, memorize. Then you have to move to question 18 and 19 for the exam. Try to make a guide, guys. It's better for you to study. And I will see you maybe later, guys, in a couple days. And try to do your best, guys. God bless you. See you.